Thanks everyone for joining. Let's get started. With what we would like to discuss today. So the today's agenda is let me first introduce myself. Myself, Hitesh. I do have 12 plus years of experience. I have worked on multiple data warehousing projects and data side from start of my career. Worked with multiple ETL tools and then into cloud projects as well. Since 5 years, I'm working on Snowflake. Um, like this is pretty much about myself and here who this course is for. Like if we get started with the today's agenda, right? If you're already working professional, right? If you're a developer, lead tester, or admin, or even architect and managers, because we are covering from scratch. Okay, uh, I mean, as a part of this course, from scratch to advanced level, we are trying to cover. So either for working professionals from uh, any level of experience, right? You'll be able to, this course is going to help. So far we have trained a lot of candidates, and I'll explain you the technical reasons why Snowflake is demanding in market, and other things like why you will have to focus on Snowflake. Okay, and then what are the prerequisites for this course? Okay, right? And before we go there, like if you are from non-data background, right? um 1 second. Yeah. Okay. If you are from non-data background or non-IT background, don't have to worry. We'll have, I mean, to for you to get started with and to catch up with others, right? We'll have separate sessions for SQL sessions. Um, like so you'll be able to get started with the actual content. Okay. So the prerequisite for this particular courses, SQL is the prerequisite. Okay. In case even if you're not from SQL background, we'll have separate SQL session, so you don't have to worry. And you don't have to install any software as such for Snowflake, since Snowflake is a software as a service in cloud. Okay, that is, you just need a browser and internet. You don't need a high end a laptop or a desktop. Okay, you don't have to install any softwares. Like the Gmail account will sign up and will be using, and practice also you can do there. I'll explain like how to create a Snowflake account, what all things. Okay, and then what is Snowflake, why you have to learn Snowflake. You have a lot of other technologies and skills, right? Why primarily you have to learn Snowflake? Okay, we'll see the technical reasons. First of all, like if you are already from data background, for your reference, I mean, you would have heard Snowflake schema. Okay, if you are from data background, you would have heard this keyword Snowflake schema, the way you design database, right? That is especially the dimensional modeling, data warehouse. Like one of the ways that you design a data warehouse is Snowflake schema, right? The Snowflake is not a Snowflake schema, for your reference. Like what is Snowflake is, it is more like cloud database. Initially, when they started Snowflake, right? Um, like it was just a cloud data warehouse. Let me show you. Initially when Snowflake came, right, like it came like a long back, in the sense not other thing is, from when Snowflake started clicking is from 2018-19, right? From 2019 onwards, clients started using Snowflake. Okay, it was there since 2016-15 onwards, but when it became popular as from 2019, okay, 20 onwards, right? From 18 onwards, like clients started using, and 19-20 onwards it became popular. Okay, so it is not like old skill. Okay, from scratch, Snowflake is I mean built on cloud. Okay, that is this is primarily on cloud. We'll see the technical reasons. Before that, why you I mean majority of us, like why we learn Snowflake, because if you feel it is going to help you to switch the career and to get good packages, right? So here, what is the first, we'll understand like what is the job market for Snowflake right now. Okay, then we'll go to the technical reasons why Snowflake is demanding. Guys, can you hear me and see the screen clearly? Anyone facing any issue?
No,
Yes,
sir.
no, no,
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
in case if anyone has any issues, you can let me know. I'll be you can raise, and you can raise your hand and you can ask me like if you have any doubts or something of that sort. So if you come to the current market trend on Snowflake, right? Even now, like IT has slowed down a bit, but if you take, there are opportunities for Snowflake even now. Okay. Like the reason, technically, I'll explain why Snowflake is demanding. And Snowflake, right? As I said, it became popular since you can say 2019-20 onwards. So it is so even if you learn Snowflake based on whatever is your background, that is if you're already working in IT on something else, okay, so how much relevant experience they would expect you from Snowflake is like earlier it was 1 to 3 years, now they are looking for 2 to 3 years or 2 to 4 years, you can say max. Okay, that is whatever is your experience, whatever is your say overall experience, even if you are say 12 years, 15 years as well, or like 5 years, I mean 7 years, 8 years, whatever is your overall experience, out of that overall experience, Snowflake relevant experience, how much they would expect is max 2 to 4 years, because it is a new skill, right? As I told, it became popular since 2019-20. So how many years it's been? Like it's been like just 2 to 3 years, right? Max 4 years, okay, or 5 years. So when I started learning, I mean, we're using Snowflake in my project, like hardly like few clients are using Snowflake in India and in US as well. But from 2019-20 onwards, it became popular. Now a lot of clients are using Snowflake. Okay. So the relevant experience, what they would expect from you is 2 to 4 years, whatever is your overall experience. And if you take the opportunities right now, to be frank, like for 2 years, opportunities are less on Snowflake. I mean, overall 2 years of experience. Overall 2 years of experience, opportunities are not that hefty, but 3 plus, right? I mean, if you have overall 3 years of experience, or if you're going to claim, so you have got opportunities. And 4 plus, you have, I mean, in all MNCs, hiring is still going on. Okay. Like even like if you take, I mean, last week as well, or 2 to 3 or 4 candidates who got offers on Snowflake. Okay. So from previous batches, that's how the market is good. In a sense, like compared to other technologies, Snowflake has still got opportunities. If you take, because of this IT slowdown, few technologies, right? There are no opportunities or calls. Okay. But for Snowflake, you do have opportunities. But for 2 years, like overall 2 years of experience, opportunities are less. 3 plus years, you have opportunities. That's the thing. And what are the packages that you would get on Snowflake is compared to your traditional skills. I mean, definitely, even in US, the billing rate for Snowflake is high, because since it is a new skill, Snowflake, I mean, the people with real experience on Snowflake, right, are very less. Okay, so like you will be, I mean, if you learn Snowflake, like it will be advantage for you, since it is a new skill, right? The relevant experience, what they look is like less. If you take old skills which are already there, right? They would expect 5 years relevant experience, 6 years, 7 years, like that. But for Snowflake, even if you claim 2 to 4 years of 2 years, right? 2 years of relevant experience or 3 years, that is more than enough. Okay, whatever is your overall experience. And the packages also, even in India, like a couple of weeks back, even one of our candidates with 10 years of experience got 40. Okay, 42. For two of us, one with 40 and other with 42. Okay, so and our candidates, like why they're clicking is the training, it will be in depth, and you'll get complete resources for you to crack into on your own. For example, let me show you like what all resources you are going to get. Then we'll get into the technical stuff. Okay, give me a second. If you take, like you would get, I mean, topic wise, the complete um, resources. Suppose if you pick one specific topic, right? Um, you'll get the code. Okay, the code like SQL code. As I said, primarily what you need for Snowflake is SQL. So, okay, you'll get that SQL code what will be using in our session for practice. Okay, even you will be able to replicate that stuff, and you will get a detailed document. You'll get the recording of that particular session on daily basis, and then you'll get interview preparation kit with complete, I mean, questions and answers on that specific topic. Okay, I mean, the scenarios, the questions, or I mean, whatever you get in the issues that you face in real projects, like what are frequently asked nowadays in interviews, right? You would get on that specific topic. Okay, you would get topic wise, you'll be getting what sort of I mean issues or scenarios right now they're asking interview with answers, with solutions. Okay, that's the thing. And also, like, you will get, um, and like, in the main thing, other thing is you will have to explain your project clearly, right? And in interviews, like, whatever, suppose if you claim relevant experience of 2 to 3 years on Snowflake, then you should be in a position to explain, like, in interviews, like what all work you have done, right? For that, I mean, you'll get a detailed document what you will have to explain project. I mean, about your project, okay, and how to. And nowadays, a lot of projects on Snowflake are migration projects. Okay, data is getting migrated from different sources like relational databases like SQL Server, Oracle, MySQL, PostgreSQL, even from Teradata, SAP HANA, like Salesforce, data is getting migrated to Snowflake. Okay, so what sort of challenges you face in migrating from Oracle to Snowflake, SAP HANA to Snowflake, Oracle, Teradata, like that? I mean, you'll get the complete info on that, like, so that even you will be able to crack your interviews. Okay, I mean, with these, that's the thing. Yep. So now, um, let's get into the technical stuff. Like, say, what is Snowflake and why it has got demand. Okay. Another reason, right? Like, since it is a new skill, candidates with real experience on Snowflake are very less. Okay, there are opportunities. Even now, like, even in a lot, I mean, all, you can look at LinkedIn or Naukri, like a lot of MNCs, right, are hiring on Snowflake even now. Okay, for as I said, 3+ experience, right? Overall 3+ experience. You have got calls on Snowflake, and why there is demand for Snowflake is, since it is a new skill, candidates with real experience on Snowflake are very less. Okay, since clients started using it since say 2020, 1920 onwards, like, candidates who really worked on Snowflake are less, and all of a sudden it started booming. Okay, a lot of clients started using. Why they started using? We'll see the technical reasons. Okay, let me show you. Primarily, when Snowflake started, right, like, they I mean, it was used as a cloud data warehouse. I see, if you're not aware of the terms, right, which I'm using, data warehouse, all these things, if you're not from data background, don't worry. We'll have, I mean, we'll be having in our regular sessions, you'll get to know completely on, like, on these terms, like what is data warehouse, what is I mean, OLTP, everything. Okay, end to end, from basic to advanced, you'll get. Okay, and like, with practical, I mean, you'll understand practically, like what is, how you'll design a database. Okay, I mean, what is transactional database, what is data warehouse, all these details you'll get to know. Okay, data warehouse means, in simple terms, you will use that. I mean, you can design a database in two ways. Okay, one is a transactional database, that is for running your business. Okay, and other one is for analytics, data analytics. Earlier, Snowflake was used only for data analytics, that is as a data warehouse, OLAP you call. Okay, now they have introduced new features like Unistore. Okay, so this is in kind of preview state, like it is announced and it is in preview state. Earlier it was used only as data warehouse. Now you can use it for transactional database as well, as a transactional database as well. So still the demand is going to increase, and they are adding a lot of new features to stay competitive in market, right? There, since and you will understand, Snowflake is software as a service. They will, I mean, release a lot of new features in backend. New features in sense, the core is same. Okay, for the clients to, I mean, if they have to use anything else, right? See, nowadays, you know how it will be. Things are changing very fast, right? So in order to stay competitive in market, Snowflake, since it is a software as a service, you'll understand what is software as a service if you're not aware. In the backend, they would release a lot of new, whatever is trending on data set, right? They will add that feature in Snowflake. Okay, so that, like, I mean, clients, right, right, like how they should get the value, and they should get whatever things whichever is trending, say data fabric or data mesh, whatever it is, I mean, trending in, on data side, um, in market, they would add that feature. Okay, that's the reason, like, a lot of clients are looking for Snowflake. I will, we'll see the core. See, before that, apart from these features and all, if you take the core of Snowflake, right, main reason why clients will be going is, let me explain. See here, suppose, as I said, Snowflake is primarily like a like cloud database. You can take. Okay, it can be used for other purposes. You'll understand what are the real use cases of or purposes of Snowflake. But one second. Yep. Sorry. Yeah, I see. Earlier it was even now it is primarily used as a data warehouse. Okay, you can use it for a lot of other purposes now. You can use it for a data lake house, for data science related, machine learning related, OLTP database, all these things. I'll explain this as we progress. Don't worry much. But primarily it was used as a data warehouse. With that itself, you have got demand. If Snowflake, I mean, client starts using it for other purposes, right? Still the demand is going to increase. That's what, like, you don't have to worry about future. But the main reason why clients will go for Snowflake is, if you take any relational databases, you would have heard about Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, MySQL, PostgreSQL, and even Hadoop. Like you have Teradata, you have SAP HANA, you have like Salesforce. All I mean, they're kind of applications. This Salesforce, SAP HANA, are, these things, right? Okay, from there also data is getting migrated to Snowflake. The reason is, if you take primarily the relational databases, what sort of issue you face technically? See, this relational databases like Oracle SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, how it is if you install that particular software, okay, suppose if you take SQL Server, Microsoft SQL Server, I've installed this software, okay, SQL Server in my machine. So what will happen is, here, like all our data, right, like we'll be creating database, and inside database we'll have tables. In our tables we'll be storing data. Okay, so here whatever data I am going to insert into my tables, right, under a specific database. So I mean, if I insert any data, where it will be stored, that data will be stored in, since I installed this, and I mean, this is like, see how it is like, if you're not from data background, I'll explain in detail. In our we'll have a couple of initial sessions on SQL and database basics. There you'll get clarity. Okay, so basically, whenever you install a particular software in a machine, right, you call that as a database server. Okay, I mean, if you're storing data in that machine. Okay, so if you insert any data, all the data will be stored in hard disk of that particular computer. Okay, that is, now if I insert any data into my tables, since I connected to my local server, suppose you have few tables. If I insert any data into these tables, where that data resides is in the hard disk of this computer. Okay, in my machine. Okay, and if users has to access that data, right, whatever you have in that database, how will access? You will use language called SQL. Okay, structured query language. SQL is like general English. Anyone can learn it easily. If you are not from data background, as I said, we'll have separate sessions. See, we have different candidates joining from different backgrounds. Okay, and also, as I said, since a lot of our candidates are able to crack interviews, so I mean, they will refer a lot of candidates. That's the reason, like, we have candidates in bulk. Okay, I mean, since the training is in depth, like a lot of candidates were able to get offers, and right, like if you are getting offer, you will refer your friends or your relatives. That way, I mean, we are getting a pool of candidates. So here, like, the candidates are from different backgrounds, like say non-IT data background as well, and who are already working on Snowflake also, they are joining. So like, if you are not from data background, we'll have separate sessions. Okay, I mean, we'll try to get you up to speed with others. Okay, so that you will be able to understand the concepts on Snowflake clearly, what it is. Okay, so from basic to advanced, we'll try to cover. Okay, so here, if you take if you install that particular software in a machine, you call that as database server, and all the data will be stored in hard disk of that machine. And if you have to access the data, you will use language called SQL. It is like general English. Okay, now, yeah, what if you have any question, we can discuss. Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Or,
This is Hitesh. Look,
yep.
uh, I just have a doubt. The post which we will be taking up, so we'll be covering up from core from fundamental core to the advanced, correct?
Correct, correct.
And for the certification purpose, I have one question. The core are coming, the exam are like core and advanced. In advanced, there are like 4.5 types of shit, like architecture level, data engineering level. For
Yeah.
me, actually,
So we are
I'm
covering
working
everything.
in, yeah,
Okay.
in
And on
ETL.
Snowflake, end to end, everything will be covered. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll share you the course content, what all things will be covered. You'll get an idea.
Yeah,
Okay.
as an ETL, I'm
Mm.
an ETL data engineer. As an data engineer,
Mhm.
currently in my project, I have been working like migration
Yeah.
project,
Can we
like
see? Let me
compared.
complete the and whatever I would like to project. Like I'll explain you the technical reasons. Then probably we'll take your questions in the end if it is fine.
Okay, okay,
Okay,
okay,
because
then.
few folks have joined from US and it is late for them. That's the reason. Okay, I'll
Okay,
complete my. If there is any confusion in what I'm telling, like you can ask, or if you have any doubts, we'll take it in the end. Okay, I'll be there
yeah,
until all your doubts
yeah,
are
that's fine.
clarified.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
just
okay,
today, every day. Okay. Yep.
okay,
Sure. Here, like you will use SQL to access that. To query that data and access, right? So whenever you run a query, right, like through network, it will try to access the data from this machine. So it will make use of the compute resources of this machine. That is, right? If you have to run anything, if you have to do even play a game, right? So you need compute power. What is compute power mean? You need processor, you need RAM. Okay, all these things comes under your compute, right? Okay, that is processor, RAM, and storage, SSD storage. All these things comes under compute resources. So, uh, if you run any queries, it will make use of the compute resources of same machine. Okay, where you have that data, that server, like compute resources it will use. That is this. But when you run queries, right, you need compute power. That is processor, RAM, all these compute resources, right? So it will make use of the compute resources of this machine. Okay, if number of users increase. Okay. So if number of users increase or volume of data increases, what we need to do? If volume increases, you need to add more storage, that is hard disk. So because all your data is stored in hard disk of that machine. Okay. And if number of users increase, and then right, if number of users increase, you'll run more queries. Okay. So what will happen? You need to increase the capacity of compute in this machine, right? That is, you have to upgrade it to high-end computer. Okay, that is a processor, high-end processor, and then you need to add more RAM. Okay, those things you have to do. But like in this servers, relational databases, how it is you can increase the capacity of the single machine. That is, you can add more RAM and you can upgrade to high-end processor. Like that way, to the same computer, you'll increase the capacity. That is, increasing the capacity. You call it as scaling. Okay, scaling. This relational databases, you scale them vertically. You can scale them vertically. Vertical in the sense, to the same machine, you can add more RAM. Okay, and upgrade it to high-end processor, like that, to the same machine. But there is certain limit, right? In terms of volume of, how you can increase the capacity of single machine. Already you upgrade it to high-end processor. So then, if still you are facing performance issue, then what will happen? Okay, there are still challenges, right? Okay, so majorly in relational database, you if the volume of data is more and if number of users are more, right, you'll start facing issues. Okay, especially for data warehouse. The reason is, in data warehouse you'll be storing historical data. You'll understand what it is as we progress, when we discuss about data warehousing. Okay, so the volume of data will be still more. And right, like you would have seen, like suppose if any results are released or during big billion days or something like that, right, their website will go down. The reason is, in backend the server would have crashed, the database server. Okay, if results are announced for any 10th standard or like plus 2, right, you would have heard, we will see after some time the server will crash. Why? Many users, if they try to access that database, that server, what will happen? This server will have certain capacity, right? Certain RAM, certain processor. So if the load is more than that, what will happen? It will hang. Okay, the server will hang. That's what will happen. Okay, these sort of issues you face in relational databases. Okay, because even if they have to upgrade, they can, to the same mission they'll be able to add more power. But how you can resolve this issue? If you can distribute that workload to multiple computers, right? Multiple computers, that is a group of computers. So I mean, whatever the load, the number of users that access and your data, if you can distribute that to multiple computers, right? Okay, so like that will resolve this issue, right? This is like in relational databases, you can increase the capacity of single mission. That is, one big mission will do all the work for you. Okay, but this has got challenges, right? One big mission, like it is like one person, even if he is very talented, like how much work he'll be able to do? There is certain limit, right? If you can distribute that work to a group of I mean persons, then it can be done faster, right? That you can't do in relational databases. Okay, so that's when Hadoop came in. Big data, you would have heard. Okay, even in big data architecture there are few flaws. Okay, Snowflake, how it came is, it came up with hybrid architecture. That is, whatever limitations that you have in this relational database, okay, and Hadoop. I'll in our regular sessions I'll explain what limitations you have in Hadoop architecture. That is big data Hadoop architecture. Okay, so Snowflake, it is like hybrid of your Hadoop and relational database architecture. That is, whatever I mean advantages you have from these two architectures, it picked and it came up with hybrid architecture. So what is the Snowflake is? I mean architecture is. Let me show you. 1 second. It has got separate storage. Okay, see here, observe here. In Snowflake architecture, you have storage separate. Okay, that is, all our data will be stored in storage layer. Where it will be stored as, it will be stored in cloud. Okay, I mean in backend, all your data, whatever you load, it will be stored in storage layer, and storage is separate and compute is separate. That is how you would get compute power, the resources, that processor, RAM, right? That is separate, and storage is separate. All your data will be stored in storage layer, in backend, in cloud. How it stores is, it stores in hybrid columnar way and micro partitions. We'll have a detailed session on storage. You will understand, okay, what it is, how it will be stored and what advantages we have with the way of storage. Like it stores in columnar way, hybrid columnar way. So, and in the form of micro partitions, you'll get to know what it is. And how you'd get compute power is, it is a separate layer. Okay, called query processing. Here you have virtual warehouses. This is not data warehouse. Virtual warehouse is different. I'll explain what is virtual warehouse. So through this virtual warehouses, you would get compute power. Okay, since storage is separate, what advantage you get? Storage is separate, compute is separate, and also cost, right? How you will pay cost to Snowflake? Your clients will pay cost to Snowflake is, storage costs are separate. Okay, these are separate, and compute costs are separate. Okay, that is how much volume of data you are storing, right? Based on that, you will pay storage cost. And since data is stored in cloud, like there is no limit in terms of how much volume of data you can store. You know, right? In cloud, even you can store petabytes of data. Okay, and there is no limit. In case of relational database, you have to add more storage, hard disk. Okay, since in cloud, you don't have to worry about storage or compute. I mean, compute also, to max level, you can increase the capacity. I'll explain that how it will be. Okay, storage is separate, and you will pay storage cost based on how much volume of data you are storing. And in Snowflake, storage costs are very minimal. Okay, so whenever you try to load data in Snowflake, the data will get compressed and encrypted, and you will be paying storage cost on top of compressed data. Okay, so on average, the storage cost per terabyte, if you are storing 1 TB of data, 1 terabyte of data for the entire month, you will pay like $23 on average. Okay, storage costs are very minimal. Okay, and query processing, right? The compute, how you'd get us through virtual warehouses. What is virtual warehouse? Let's understand. What is virtual warehouses? It is a cluster of compute nodes, a group of computers you would get in backend. Okay, in backend, since storage is separate, this virtual warehouse is not a data warehouse. Okay, data warehouse is different. Virtual warehouse. What is virtual warehouses? It is a cluster. Cluster means group of computers. Okay, so your virtual warehouse comes in different t-shirt sizes: extra small, small, medium, large, like this. Extra small means you'd get compute power of one mission. Okay, compute power of one machine. Small means you'll get group of two computers in backend. That is, you'll get compute power of two machines. Medium means you'll get compute power of four machines. That is a cluster. Cluster means group. A group of four computers you get in backend to run your queries. Okay. So large means 8 computers. Excel means 16. This way, up to 6 Excel you can. And now they are generally available as well. Up to 6 Excel. 6 Excel means, I mean, the virtual warehouse size, right? You can increase it up to 6 Excel. And this, right? This virtual warehouse size. Anytime you can increase or decrease. I'll show you what it is. Let me show you. I mean, how it will look. The interface, user interface of Snowflake. If you observe, like your database, I mean your regular relational databases, right? You'll have databases. Okay, you'll have databases. Under your database you'll have schema. Under schema you'll have tables, views, everything. Okay, this is like more like cloud database. Okay, you can have tables, views, everything. Okay, here, right, in order to run, okay, in worksheets is where you can run your SQL statements. Suppose I want to get data from a specific table, select star from that particular table name. If I have to run, right, here is where you will choose the virtual warehouse. Okay, this is not a data warehouse, so this is virtual warehouse. Okay, so now this, what is the size of this virtual warehouse? Extra small. That means if I use this warehouse to run my queries, I would get compute power of one mission. I'm trying to run complex query. Okay, our number of users are more who are trying to run queries. You can increase this warehouse size anytime. See, let me show you. See, this is my warehouse, right? Say now the status says suspended. That means now I'm not paying any cost, compute cost at all. I mean, I'm not, since the warehouse is not used, it is in suspended state. I'm not going to pay any cost, compute cost now. When it is brought into running state, right? Okay, if I resume this, then only I'll have to pay cost. How I'll be paying compute cost is, right? And suppose if I bring this into running state, for compute, based on usage only you'll pay. Okay, it is like minimum a minute. After that, it is on second basis. Okay, say you have used, I'll bring this into running state. Now it is in started state. Okay, if I use this virtual warehouse to run my queries for, say, for example, 65 seconds. Okay, 65 seconds, right? Then I'll pay cost, compute cost only for 65 seconds. 1 second. So this warehouse is in running state now. See, observe here. It says started. Okay, earlier it was in suspended state. Earlier I don't have to pay any cost. Now I started it. So it will be active for say 65 seconds. I'll use that to run my queries for 65 seconds. Then I'll pay compute cost only for 65 seconds. Got it? You'll get clarity on how it works. Minimum a minute, and after that it is on 60 on second basis. So you'll pay for on based on your usage. Okay, and I can increase this warehouse size, virtual warehouse size, the compute capacity anytime. Suppose now it is extra small. If I have to increase it to say, for example, extra large, see how much time it took. Fraction of seconds. Now extra large means how much compute power I would be getting now to run my queries. What is the size? See here. Small, extra small means in backend you would get compute power of one mission. Small means 2, medium means 4, large means 8. I increased it to Excel. That means 16 computers. That is a group of 16 computers power you would be getting now to run my queries. You got it? So even this one, I mean this extra large, like suppose now this warehouse was active for say 65 seconds. I'll pay cost only for 65 seconds. Okay, since storage and compute are separate in Snowflake, right? Since they are not tied together in relational database, both are in same mission, right? Storage will be in the hard disk of that mission. Compute you would be, I mean, it will be on the same mission. I mean, it will make use of the resources of the same computer, the RAM processor. But here, since storage is separate, compute is separate. Whenever you don't need compute, always will not be using compute power, right? Okay, so suppose if you take, especially in data warehouse, you'll understand what it is. It is used for analysis purpose. So suppose over the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, I mean, we are not going to use any compute. You can suspend this warehouse, virtual warehouse. Got it? So that time you'll not be paying any cost. If they were coupled, right? If the storage and computer in same mission, always you have to keep this up and running. Got it? Since storage is separate, compute is separate. Like whenever you don't need compute, you can suspend those virtual warehouse. If they're in suspended state, you don't have to pay any cost. And how you are paying cost for compute? On second basis, minimum a minute. After that, it is on second basis. So your client will, what advantages he will get, and how till how much power you can increase the compute power up to 6xl. And now increase it to xl. You can increase it to 6xl as well. Suppose if number of users are more, okay, volume of data is more, okay, and you wanted to increase the power, increase the compute power, processor RAM, you can increase it up to 6xl. 6xl means in backend, you will get compute power of 512 computers. A group of 512 computers power you get. Now in relational database, only one computer. Okay, here you can think of like till how much extent they can increase. Got it? And since they're storing data in cloud, there is no limit in terms of volume of data they can store. Compute power also, they can increase it to any extent, up to 512, up to 6xl. That is, you'll get up to 512 compute machines power, not just 512. There are other concepts now. Okay, if you take, you can there is query accelerator service, and you can set this virtual warehouse 6xl virtual warehouse to auto scale mode. So that time, if you set this virtual warehouse to auto scale mode, what will happen is this virtual warehouse of size x6xl, it'll if number of users are more, and if they're waiting in queue, right? You know, suppose if during big billion days, or like whenever the peak time, during peak hours, you don't know. Like if number of users increase all of a sudden, there doesn't, right, like based on the compute power you are getting, suppose 8 GB RAM or like certain capacity a processor, how many queries you can run parallelly at same point of time. There is certain limit, right? Okay, after that limit, say you can parallelly run say 100 queries, for example, at same point of time. Parallelly at same point of time, you can run 100 queries using a particular virtual warehouse of certain size. Okay, if you have more than 100 queries submitted, say 200 queries are submitted, so what will happen? 100 queries will be running, remaining queries will be waiting in queue. Okay, um, once this 100 completes, the other queries will start running that way, right? Okay, but in case of Snowflake, if you you have an option called auto scale. Whenever there is workload is more, if you set your virtual warehouse to auto scale mode, Snowflake will automatically add additional clusters of this size 6xl. I mean, if I, for example, if I created a virtual warehouse of size 6xl, and if I set this virtual warehouse to auto scale mode, up to 10 clusters it will add automatically. If queries are waiting in queue during peak hours, if you need more power, automatically Snowflake will add clusters. Okay, up to 10 clusters it can add. It won't add all 10 clusters. Based on your workload, it will add. Okay, so up to 10 clusters it is going to add, right? That is 512 6. If it is 6xl, 512 into 10, that is 5120 compute machines. That is those many machines power you would get. Okay, I mean, it is like you can think of, right, if one machine itself, one computer itself in relational database like Oracle SQL Server, if it can serve I mean multiple users or clients, right? I mean, how much volume of data you can store, all these things. If it has this much power, how many queries it can handle? Okay, I mean, that too, you will, if suppose additional clusters whatever it is adding, right? Suppose if the additional cluster which it has added, like after 2 minutes the workload has gone down, automatically the additional cluster will be removed by Snowflake itself. Okay, so you will pay cost only for how much time you are using, seconds. Like say 65 seconds you have used, you will pay cost only for 65 seconds. So what advantages client is getting? They don't have to worry about compute power. I mean, how much, I mean, about storage or compute. Okay, and all these things, right? How you would get this compute power? Okay, within fraction of seconds we are able to increase or decrease the warehouse size, right? So all these things, I mean, uh, Snowflake is taking care in backend. Okay, basically, let me show you one thing. One second. Basically, the cloud providers operate in different models. Okay, one second. I have already opened the document. Quickly show you. Cloud providers, right? If you take, what are the public cloud providers? From Amazon, you have AWS. From Microsoft, you have Azure. From Google, you have GCP, Google Cloud Platform. Main advantage, another advantage for Snowflake is Snowflake is not restricted to one cloud. Okay, say only AWS or only Azure. Snowflake is available on all clouds. Like Snowflake is available in like Azure, AWS, GCP, all three major public cloud providers. Got it? So irrespective of which particular cloud your client is using, okay, your client, they're using AWS, they can use Snowflake. If your client is using Azure, they can use Snowflake. Okay, that way. If they're using GCP, even then they can use Snowflake. Okay, that is another advantage why Snowflake has more opportunities. So irrespective of whichever cloud, if you learn Azure, right, you'll, I mean, only clients who are using Azure, there you will have opportunities. But Snowflake, since it is available in all clouds, irrespective of whichever cloud your client is using, like you'll have opportunities. And other thing is, suppose if you take AWS is already matured, okay, it got saturated. There are not many opportunities on AWS. I mean, they will be there, but not very. I mean, so many opportunities. If you take Azure, there are some opportunities. But if you have to get job on Azure, for example, right, as a Azure data engineer or whatever it is, you have to learn a lot of services. In cloud, there are a lot of services. Okay, in Azure, if you have to get a job, you should learn at least 2 3 services, at least 3 services. Say Azure Data Factory. Azure Data Factory will be easy, and then Azure Synapse. Okay, and Azure Databricks. Okay, these three if you learn, you will be able to get a and you'll be able to switch to Azure and you can work. But that is vast. If you have to learn all three, right, it will be vast. Data Factory is easy, but if you take Databricks, will be a bit tough for you. I mean, for anyone to learn because their coding is involved. PySpark, okay, Scala, all this. I mean, different languages they'll be using. Their coding will be involved. SQL will be easy to learn. Snowflake, what advantage is? Content is restricted. Content is not vast. Anyone, if you focus within like say 45 to 50 days, you can learn. Content is restricted, and you'll get since they're using a lot of features, you can use it for different workloads. Okay, I was telling about Databricks, right? Databricks is hot skill since like 5 years. I mean, since 7 8 years. If you take Databricks, Spark as a service, right? So the same functionality you have in Snowflake now, same functionality what you get with Databricks, Snowflake has introduced that recently, called Snowpark. Okay, let me show you. Before we go there, if you take cloud services, how they would provide, they would operate as, that is Azure, AWS, or GCP, any cloud provider, they would operate in 3 models here, like infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. Okay, I mean, what are these 3 models are based on what you manage as a client and what cloud provider will manage. Based on this, primarily, they have 3 models. Okay, infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. On high level, you'll understand. Like we'll discuss in detail on that. I'll explain on high level. Suppose if you take example of you need a burger. I mean, your client, for example, if homemade burger, right? It is like on premises. That is our regular databases, relational databases, SQL Server, Oracle. If they install that software, they will maintain all the servers at one place. They call that as data center. They'll have to take care of everything. That is, they'll have to take care of electricity, networking, storage, OS. They have to install everything. They'll have to take care. Okay, they'll maintain everything on their own. That is like on premises. Like that is like, if you compare, it is like homemade burger sort of. Okay, if you take infrastructure as service in cloud, okay, these 3 services are in cloud. In cloud, you would get like few services. So if you take infrastructure as a service, you'll get computer in cloud. Okay, while if you take Azure or AWS, in AWS, if you take, you have EC2. EC2 is a virtual machine in cloud. That is, in cloud, you will get one computer. You can choose how much like processor you want, how much RAM you want, how much storage you want, all those things. Okay, and you will get one computer in cloud. So if you need it for one day, you can get it. Okay, after that, you don't have to pay cost like that. Say you want it for 2 days, you can use. Okay, that way you would get. You don't have to buy that infrastructure. That is, if you have to maintain, I mean, in on-premises, you have to buy a computer. Okay, you have to add, if you have to add anything like a hard disk or something, your client has to spend money and buy that infrastructure. Okay, but in infrastructure as a service in cloud, you will get virtual machine in cloud, and based on your usage, you can pay cost. Okay, but there you have to take care of other things, like say installing your OS. Okay, installing any softwares, all those things. Okay, that is what is infrastructure service. That is like rent kitchen. You know, nowadays you have rent kitchens, right? You where you would get kitchen, electricity, and grill. Okay, that will be provided by the when some other vendor. Okay, what you have to take care, you have to get buns, ingredients, and cook the burger. That is what you have to do. Okay, this is like infrastructure as service. Platform as service means it is like um, in cloud. If you take, okay, you will have the OS installed and software also. Okay, what software, that also you'll get, but you need to take care of few things. Suppose if you take database, you have other things like creating indexes, creating partitions, all those things you have to manage. That is like platform as a service. Okay, that is you will have to manage few things. Your cloud provider will be taking care of majority of the things, like this, like OS they'll provide, software they will only install, like that. Okay, that is like if you compare here, it is like cook your burger. Sometimes you would get even buns also they are providing. You have to get ingredients and cook the burger. Okay, this is like platform as a service. Software as a service means, okay, your cloud provider will take care of everything. That is even indexing, partitions, everything they will only take care. Okay, what you have to take, that is like you'll order a burger, you'll get it to your home, you have to just eat it. Okay, I mean, I'm just giving an example to correlate for you. So Snowflake is software as a service. Got it? Snowflake is software as a service. That means you don't have to worry about any infrastructure management, storage, nothing. Everything Snowflake will take care. You can just, I mean, load your data or insert your data, and you'll have to just use that data for your analysis. You don't have to worry on anything. Got it? That way it is. What I need to highlight is Snowflake is software as a service. So your client doesn't have to worry about anything. Everything will be taken care by Snowflake itself in backend. Okay, even if they release new features, right? You don't even get to know that. I mean, you don't face any outage or something like that. Okay, you will understand more on this. If you take the competitors for Snowflake, see, competitors also you can't directly compare. The reason is, initially Snowflake was just introduced as a cloud data warehouse. Now you can use it for other workloads also. As a, you can get the same functionality what you get with Databricks, with Snowpark, all these things, right? But if you compare as a data warehouse, which was primarily used in AWS, you have Redshift. In Azure, you have Synapse. In Google, you have BigQuery. Okay, if you take this, right, they are platform as a service in cloud. And even if you compare the pricing, all those things, Snowflake is, I mean, cost wise, it will be less compared to them. Okay, I mean, it depends on how your usage as well, but primarily, like the way the billing, how it charges, all those things, compared to them, like cost will be a bit less. Okay, and you will get a lot of features, not just as a data warehouse. Okay, that's what it is. And if you take rates, what are the competitors in terms of data warehouse, right? It is, you have in Azure, you have Synapse. In AWS, you have Redshift. They are all platform as a service. Even you have to take, your client has to take care of few things. But since Snowflake is software as a service, everything the Snowflake only will take care. Like Gmail, you can create a Snowflake account and you can start using, and you will pay only for what you use. Got it? These are the main advantages. I think we have just 10 minutes left. Let me show you other things, like what other key features we have. Then we'll take your questions. So far, guys, any questions or any doubts? Hello, from anyone before I speak on the.
Yes, I have a couple of things. So can we take later?
Sure. Like if you have any confusion on the architecture part which I explained, we can discuss. Or like if you have doubts, we'll take it in few minutes. Just for
Okay,
another 2-3 minutes.
it's okay. I'm done.
Okay, let me complete them. See, the main advantage for Snowflake is it is available on all clouds, as I said. It is not restricted to one cloud, and you have a lot of key features. Okay, and it is software as a service. Your client doesn't have to worry about like infrastructure management or like the compute, how you'd get all those things. Snowflake in backend it takes care. You just have to load your data, even creating indexes, creating partitions, all those things also Snowflake will take care in backend. You don't have to worry. Okay, they'll be automatically taken care. And like key features what they have is time travel. Like you will understand what it is. You can go back in time and get the data. And then you have marketplace, data marketplace. Okay. Earlier it was data marketplace. Now it is, you call that as marketplace. What it is, let me show you quickly. 1 second. If you see, if you come here, um, see here, marketplace. There are nowadays, right? You have other use cases like data fabric, and data mesh, all those things. You'll understand what they are. Don't worry. But they are advanced. I mean, recent trends in on data side in market. So Snowflake, right? They have I mean, feature called marketplace. I mean, you have an option marketplace. Here you can buy data sets. Suppose you have public data set. If you take trading data, share market data, right? How a particular stock is performing. Okay, your client is a financial client. So they will give insights on like how a particular stock is performing, whether it will go up, the price will, stock price will go up or down. Okay, and what is the trend. If you have to analyze, you need that data, right? I mean, it's old data as well, like how the stock was performing. So that data, if you take in India or even in US, the stock related data, it is common for anyone. Okay, so if your client is financial client or like into the investment domain, they wanted to give their businesses, they'll give recommendations, buy the stock. Whoever subscribes, they'll, for example, I'm giving an example. If they need that data, right, that data is common for anyone. Okay, if you have to maintain that data, right, it's not just static. Every day the trading will happen and you will get new data, right? So if someone has to maintain all the data on their own, they have to spend a lot of time and they have to invest money, right, to maintain that in their database. But in this marketplace, you can buy those data sets, the public data sets. Few are free, few are paid. Okay, someone will be maintaining that. So and you'll get it at lesser price because they're not just providing you for you. Okay, for they'll sell it for others as well. Okay, so if their maintenance cost is, say for example, certain dollars, since they're selling it for multiple people, you'll get it for lesser price. If you have to maintain that on your own, you'll have to invest time and you have to maintain, I mean, you have to invest money as well. But here in marketplace, you can get those data sets. You'll get that data for your reporting, or whatever data I have in my account. Say your client has certain data which they are maintaining. They wanted to sell that data and get money, make money. You can do that in marketplace. You can publish the data sets and you can get. Okay, this kind of unique feature, not just data. Now, why earlier it was data marketplace, now you call it as marketplace. Okay, what is the reason is they have introduced, see, Snowflake, they are continuously spending, investing money in innovation, and then like bringing new features. If there are any startups, right, which are unique, they'll acquire those startups whichever are trending, they feel like which will help. Okay, suppose recently, I mean, they have acquired a lot of startups sort of. Okay, if you take, they acquired Streamlit. I mean, recently, Streamlit, what it is, this Streamlit will help in building data applications. Okay, data applications. So through marketplace, right, you can sell data apps also, not just data. Okay, not just data, you can sell data applications also. So you'll understand more on that. So these kind of unique features Snowflake is adding, so to attract clients. Got it? That's why see, they have very good marketing strategies, Snowflake. Okay, they always they wanted to keep like Snowflake on top. If you take cloud data warehouse side, Snowflake is number one. You can check with anyone who are working on like data warehousing side. Okay, cloud data warehouse, Snowflake is number one cloud data warehouse if you compare with other data warehouses. Okay, the reason, like, they'll keep releasing new features and they'll stay competitive in market. That's what it is. And their how they'll pay cost is true pay as you go model. That is, based on your usage you'll pay cost. And it supports all kind of data, structured, semi-structured, unstructured, all those things. They have unique features like um, and data sharing, database replication. You'll understand all these things: zero copy clone, external tables, And Snowflake Partner Connect. They have very good partnership with a lot of technology partners. Like, let me show you for your reference. If you come to admin, right, you have a Partner Connect. Okay. See, they have got, if you go for data integration, okay, see, they have very good partnership, lot of technology partners, like say Fitran, DBT, Informatica, okay, Matillion, Click, SnapLogic, Talent, okay, see ETL tools, reporting tools, like any tools, I mean, data related tools, if you take, right, like reporting tools, I mean, transformation tools, ETL tools, all tools have got connectors for Snowflake. They have very good partnership with them. Got it? Only few are listed here, but like majority of the tools, right? Okay, you have got connectors for Snowflake. So if your client is already using particular tool, say Informatica or data or any specific ETL tool or reporting tool like Power BI, Tableau, they can integrate easily with Snowflake. Okay, that is another advantage why clients and they don't have to. And you know, right? If it is integrated with other things, it will be your client. Suppose if they're already using any tools, they can integrate that with Snowflake easily. Okay, that's another reason why clients will go for Snowflake. And game-changing features. Earlier, as I said, right, um, there were few limitations for Snowflake. Okay, say procedures. In database you have something called procedures. So in Snowflake earlier it was JavaScript procedures. That was one of the main limitation. I mean, few clients they were waiting for SQL-based procedures. Okay, now that Snowflake scripting called SQL, that is SQL-based procedures are available. You can create procedures in SQL as well. Earlier it was not there. Okay, so with these features, new features, right? Still more clients will come for Snowflake. Okay, and Snowpark, as I said, this is like Databricks. I mean, the Databricks functionality you can get it within Snowflake using this feature, Snowpark. And earlier it was used only for OLAP, data warehousing, that is analytics. You can use Snowflake as analytical database. But now you can use it with this Unistore feature, right? It is recently, I mean, new feature. It is not yet generally available. If once this is generally available, right, your clients can use Snowflake as OLTP databases. That is, earlier, your Oracle SQL Server, Snowflake can't replace completely those databases. Earlier, once this Unistore feature is available, right, you can completely replace your Oracle SQL Server, MySQL, all these things with Snowflake. Okay, so what I'm saying is, in future you'll have still more opportunities on Snowflake because of these new features what they're adding. And as I said, you have data marketplace and other new features also they have added recently. They have a summit recently. In that summit they have announced few new features, I mean, no more features which are trending on data side, like say on data fabric, data mesh. And you know, right, nowadays you have this chat GPT and all AI related, I mean, this um, generative AI, generative artificial intelligence. On that front, also already Snowflake started adding features. Okay, I mean, they have announced them, and soon they'll be available. Got it? You can think of that means they are. I mean, if you learn Snowflake, right, you don't have to worry. They'll keep, see, the core is same. Whatever core, right, the main advantage what we have seen, the architecture, that is same. On top of that, they'll release features. Since it is software as a service, whatever is trending in data side, they'll add those features. Your clients, if they want, they can use, or else they can use it for regular use cases. For the trend, if something new is coming up, they don't have to switch to something else. Got it? Within Snowflake, they'll get all those features. You got it, right? That way, they'll keep the existing clients, and they can add more clients as well for the other features. Got it? That's why Snowflake has demand. I mean, a lot of clients are using Snowflake. Got it? Any questions? Before, let me come and tell one thing. Earlier, we used to take sessions from 7:30 to 8:30. Nowadays, offices have started, and a couple of them, I mean, if we they'll have to go to offices as well, right? So we will I mean, have the sessions from Monday to Friday from 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. IST. Tomorrow, there is Monday morning, right? 6:30 to 7:30 a.m. IST. We'll have a skill session, and who are not from data background, they can join. From Tuesday onwards, our regular Snowflake content will start. Okay, if you are tomorrow, we'll have SQL session, and from Tuesday onwards, Tuesday morning Indian time, 6:30, 7:30 onwards, we'll have regular Snowflake sessions starting. Okay, if you have any doubts or if you have any confusion, right, you can ask now. And let me, I mean, conclude one thing. Like, see, what are the mandatory skills for you to crack an interview on Snowflake or to switch to Snowflake? Is Snowflake end to end, all features. As I said, the content is restricted. You can easily learn SQL at least to mid level. So you should be able to understand if you look at any query, like say joins, all those things. So as I said, if you're not from data background, we can have separate sessions. So that you can, I mean, you can get up to speed on SQL as well. And data warehousing, we'll have sessions on this data warehousing, what it is, the concepts and all. And cloud, see, since we are saying Snowflake is available on all clouds, right? AWS, Azure, GCP. What you need, and do you need already some cloud exposure? You don't have to worry. Even if you don't know anything on cloud, like you will use only few services for Snowflake in cloud. We will discuss all those things in our regular sessions. Okay, these are the mandatory skills for you to get an offer on Snowflake. All this will be covering. Apart from this, if you have any ETL exposure or reporting tool exposure, that is, if you're already working, if you know, we will also be covering few ETL tools like say, like Azure Data Factory, Matillion, or like DBT. Okay, data, I mean, for transformation tool DBT, which is picking up phase now. A lot of US and UK clients are using that. You'll understand as we progress. Don't worry. So that is, I mean, if you know any of these tools, that will be advantage. And even like if you take any Python skills, right? That also will add advantage, but that is not mandatory. Many people have doubt like whether we need to learn Python for sure. That is not a mandatory. Even if you don't know Python, right? Like you can get a, if you're good with SQL, Snowflake and data warehousing, and if you cloud, and whatever services we need, like primarily the storage service, like AWS S3 or Azure Blob is what you need to understand. You'll get clarity on those things. Okay. Apart from this, if you have any other skills, like say as any ETL reporting, any database, uh, like let me show you what all things data is getting migrated from. You have data getting migrated from SQL Server, Oracle, PostgreSQL, MySQL, NoSQL database like MongoDB, Hadoop, okay, big data, and Salesforce, Teradata, SAP, HANA. All these things, data is getting migrated to Snowflake. Okay, so if you are from this background, sometimes suppose if you, if they're hiring for Teradata to Snowflake migration, so if you already know Teradata, right, you'll have advantage. You know, you should know both, but since you are they are migrating from Teradata, so while migrating, you know, right, if you know Teradata, if you face any challenges, you'll be able to like resolve them easier. That way, it will help. But as I said, mandatory skills are this. Okay, that is Snowflake, SQL, data warehousing, cloud, a bit of cloud exposure that you'd get, whatever you want. Yeah, if you have any doubts, we can discuss now. Hello, it's already, yep,
Hello.
yep.
Yes, can I go ahead? Please take a look.
Can you be a bit louder? I can't hear you.
Hello, am I audible to you?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, like I am currently working in like a project like it's I am having Snowflake as well as an IICS. I'm
Mm-hmm.
working as a data engineer.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the exposure into Snowflake to work in the last time. But the thing is that it is a migration project. Earlier, it was the data. We are modernizing the data. Like it is in Teradata and MongoDB. We are modernizing it into Snowflake. So in our regular project, we are just using IICS, Informative Power Clouds and all. By doing those things, we are loading the data into
No, no.
Snowflake.
What is your question? Like, can
Right.
you?
Apart from like, my question is that what are other things we required in the Snowflake? Because till now we are using just like of a database, like we are
Mhm.
just searching the data is populating correct or not.
Mhm.
How it represent data warehouse?
Yeah. See, See, probably you are just involved in data loading, right? Using IACS. You are not, you haven't
Yes,
used all
I can.
Snowflake features. That's what it is, right?
Yes, yes.
See, the features that you have in Snowflake, it depends on client to client. I mean, how what features they'll use. But in our training, we'll be covering all the features in Snowflake, whatever we have. Got it?
So it will be
So
loading into the
when we
cloud
discuss,
Azure.
yeah, when we discuss about a specific feature, that time you'll understand what are the use cases. In now, like in 5-10 minutes, we can't. I mean, discuss everything, right? Like you'll as we
Okay.
progress, you'll get clarity on things. What all, I mean, what all features we have, what are the use cases of those features, and where in which scenario you'll use them, and what issues you face, and the
Mhm.
challenges, issues, what you face, how to overcome them. All those things you'll get to know. Okay.
And will it be helpful
Yeah,
working
you should
along with
see. If
IICS
see
and
see as you said, even if you are already working on Snowflake, you are just loading the data, you are not aware about other features, right? So if
correct.
suppose if you have to switch to Snowflake, I'm not sure how much experience you have, but based on your experience, even if it is say 3 years 4 years as well, they would expect, I mean, right, in interviews what they ask is different, the work what you get is different. You should, if you have to crack an interview, you should know end to end on Snowflake, all features, how they will work,
Correct.
how the behavior is, what issues you face, all those things. So, I mean, I would suggest, like, as we progress, when we discuss a particular feature, you'll get to know the use cases, and that time you'll understand. Okay.
Mhm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Any other
Mhm.
questions from anyone?
Hello.
Yep.
Hi,
Yep.
Anna here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like there will be two batches, like 6:30 to 7:30 and 7:30 to 8:30.
No. No. No.
The batch.
Only one batch, like 6:30 to 7:30. I'm also
Okay.
working, so I mean, right now the batch which is getting started is 6:30 to 7:30. I hope it should be fine, because I know, like, it is a bit early, but only for a couple of days, right? Like, you can, if you have to learn. See, the problem is if we keep it bit late, like, there. I mean, if you have to go to office, then it'll be a problem, right? So if you finish it off a bit early, then it'll be easy for you to, I mean, start your day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
make
sure.
it like seven or seven, just 7 to 8?
Yeah, we'll think of. Okay, I'll let you know. You can. Mhm.
Another thing, like Hitesh, as part of this course,
Uh-huh.
are you covering this Azure Databricks also?
No, no, no. Azure Databricks will not be covering. Okay, that is a separate thing, right? It is in Azure. It is not Azure Data Engineer. It is Snowflake. See, Snowflake Data Engineering. When on Snowflake end to end, all the features will be covered, but not like Databricks. Okay.
Okay, okay. And I think you cover some of the capabilities of Python also, right?
Python integration we'll discuss, like how we'll integrate with Snowflake. But don't worry much on Python. As I said, Python is not mandatory. If you know, it will be an
Okay,
advantage. Yeah.
okay, okay,
What you would require is SQL. I
okay,
mean,
okay.
mid level SQL knowledge. Like, if you look, and other advantage for Snowflake is, since the majority of the projects are migration projects, even if
Mhm.
if you're not very strong in SQL or other things, right? Since it is migration, you don't have to write any logic from scratch. Okay, so you already have the code. You'll have to just convert them. Create. Suppose you have a function in Snowflake. Sorry, say SQL Server. You are migrating from SQL Server to Snowflake. Then you have to create the same logic is there. So you have to convert that into Snowflake compatible function and create it in Snowflake. That way it will be. Okay. So it will be easy for you to work. That's what I mean. Yeah, since
Okay,
they are
okay.
migration projects. Yeah. If you have
Is
to
it
write logic
mandatory to
from
have
scratch, it will
Azure?
be tough. Yeah.
Like
Hmm.
Yeah,
Azure
it's not totally onto coding.
Uh-huh. What is that?
It's not totally onto coding.
Yeah, SQL is what required. That's what I'm saying, right? It is like cloud database. So you need SQL. Okay,
Is there any
SQL
administration
at
part or
least.
completely coding? I'm asking.
What is admin?
Yeah. Is there any administration part or completely into coding?
Admin also we have. Earlier, there were primarily they were hiring Snowflake developers, leads or architects. Now, admin also, even in India, you can find opportunities on Snowflake admin also. You'll get to know what admin will do. There are other things, like, say, they'll set up resource monitors. There is something called storage integration. Let me show you. Like, say, if you see, so those things the admin will be taking care. That also will be covered. Okay.
Okay.
Admin part also will be covered, because if you have to I mean, suppose if you have to load data from particular thing, you have to create storage integration. So that part, like even for your practice, at least you need. So we'll be covering all those things. Majority of the admin related things also will be covering. So if you want to try out for Snowflake DBA roles, also you can try. So there, like in much coding is not required. Okay, so Snowflake DBAs. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is Sunita from New Zealand. So my currently I'm involved in writing PySpark code on Databricks, but I'll be joining my new organization where the technology stack looks like
Mhm.
Snowflake, DBT, VS Code,
Mhm.
um, Windows subsystem on Linux, Docker, and
Mm,
SQL
yeah,
Fluff.
those that infrastructure part you don't have to worry. Probably that is the technology. I mean, tool stack they're going to use. So
Mm.
Snowflake they're using, right? Like definitely it is going to help you. Okay. I
Yes.
mean, as you were saying, you have some Databricks exposure. Probably if they see Snowpark is a new feature with which you would get the same functionality like Databricks. But
Mm.
clients who are using Databricks, sorry, Snowpark is are very less. I mean, even if they're using, they're still kind of doing POCs and all. So since you are from Databricks background, if even if they start using Snowpark, you can easily manage things. Okay, you will not
So
have
prior
to.
to this, I worked on Snowflake, sir, but at that time we used to write stored procedures using JavaScript plus SQL,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Now it is pure.
mm.
Now you have pure Java, so SQL based procedures. You don't have to worry. That's what I said, right? Earlier
But
they
this
were too
person
limited.
who interviewed me, he particularly mentioned Python as the language that they are using to write stored
Yeah, see,
procedures.
that's
Now
what.
that we, yeah, yeah.
What it depends on the project to project. Okay,
Hmm.
like what technology stack they'll use. If since you are saying your client is using Databricks, they would I mean they would be expecting Python exposure. But other clients, everyone will not use Databricks, right? Based on the client requirement, they'll start using. So that's how it is.
Not Databricks, sir. In the new project, I mean, in my new organization, he said they're writing stored procedures on Snowflake using Python. So will
Yeah, you
you
can write.
be
You can write
covering that? Is
no,
what I'm
no, we'll not
asking.
be covering Python because Python, like if you have to learn, right, like it'll take another 30 days. So it'll
Hmm.
our duration of the course would be like 45 to 50 days. Okay, if you
Hmm.
want to learn Python, I mean, you have resources outside. You can learn, but Python will not be. Python integration we can cover, like say how from Python you can connect to Snowflake. As I said, you so in India, right? Like whatever mandatory skills I have specified, if you learn them, you will be able to get an opportunity. Python is not mandatory in other, right? In US and other, I mean, in other locations, the I mean the technology tool stack what they expect is different. Okay, they would expect everything, all the skills. So you should know everything. But in India, even if you know only specific skills, you'd be able to get an offer that way. Yeah.
Sure, sir. If you had time for another question, so this is technical.
Mm.
So when we say IaaS and PaaS and SaaS, so Databricks
Mhm.
is everything, right? And whereas Snowflake is a SaaS only offering. So how does it differ in
No, no,
terms
no.
of?
Everything you will not have anything. I mean,
Mm.
either your Databricks, the use case is different. That is for data engineering workloads. You can't store any data in Databricks, right? You got it?
Of course, yeah,
You
everything is a view for
see
Databricks.
what
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Mm.
one thing. I
Mm.
mean, see Snowflake, whatever you can do, right? I mean, the Databricks, whatever you can achieve, everything you
Mm.
can achieve with Snowflake as well. Got it? Majority of the things. But what you can do with Snowflake, you can't achieve with Databricks. Got it? The reason is you can't store any data in Databricks. Okay, it is not a database as such. Snowflake is I mean, more like cloud database, you can say. Got it? It will provide the functionality of Databricks also. Okay. Yeah. Like any other questions?
Yeah, that's all from my side. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Any other questions from anyone
This
else?
is Anil.
Yep.
Yeah. Can I call a Snowflake as a ETL tool? Can it
No, it's
support?
not. It's not ETL tool. Okay. I mean, ETL functionality you'll get. As I said, it is more like cloud database. Got it? You will
How is
primarily
it?
earlier it was used as a cloud data warehouse, but if you have data, I mean, you don't have direct connectors in Snowflake to connect to Oracle, SQL Server and get data. Got it? But suppose if you have data in cloud storage, like say AWS S3 or Azure Blob, others guys don't get confused. The terminologies you'll understand as we progress. So from cloud storage, you'll be able to directly load data into Snowflake with Snowflake features itself, like copy command, Snowpipe, all those things. Got it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
It is not exactly an ETL tool, but to some extent you'll get the ETL capability as well. But one thing which is lagging, Snowflake is lagging, is it doesn't have direct connectors to your databases, other databases. Okay, like your ETL
Okay.
tool. Yeah.
So, is it a separate data warehouse, like cloud data warehouse, or it has been loaded into Azure or any GCP or platform or any AWS platform?
Okay, how you're asking how it is available in all clouds, right?
Correct, correct. For
So
example,
Snowflake,
like, hmm,
Snowflake, right? Like it is software as a service in cloud. In the sense, suppose if you take this particular account which we created, the Snowflake account, say other, you'll get to know how you'll create Snowflake account.
yes, yes, I
So
am
while
correct.
creating your Snowflake account, you will choose which cloud you wanted to host. Okay, Snowflake doesn't have their own cloud. What Snowflake will do is it will make use of the cloud. I mean the resources of cloud providers. Say if you create account in AWS, they'll I mean it will make use of the resources of AWS. If you create your Snowflake account in Azure, it will make use of the resources of Azure. That way, if you take this account, I have created this account in Azure cloud. See this cloud, this region, and this is the edition. You will understand as we progress. Okay.
Yeah, I actually I have a question on this one. Actually, I have posted this one Oracle this one Snowflake, but uh, I have been giving connection to through IICs like through
Mm,
Informatica Cloud. I am connecting to Snowflake. So that particular Snowflake is been hosted in Azure, correct? Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's not like it depends on where your client, while creating your Snowflake account, you will select where you would like to host your Snowflake account. Got it? You can host in AWS, Azure, and GCP, all three public cloud providers.
Can you do that in Informatica Cloud as well? If, you are doing
What?
that way, or it won't be possible?
No. What you wanted to do in, you can connect from my Informatica cloud to a Snowflake account hosted in any cloud. Got it? That's what your question.
Yes, yes. My
You can
question
connect.
was,
You
I
can
am,
connect.
yeah.
See, we are saying Snowflake is available on all clouds, right? But as a Snowflake developer, whichever cloud they are hosting, I mean, your Snowflake account, it will not the work you do, the functionality, the code you write, everything is same. Okay. Only one thing which will vary is in case if they are maintaining data like in cloud, say AWS S3 or Azure Blob, that connection setup would be different. We'll be covering both AWS and Azure. Okay. I mean, how you'll integrate all those things. Because nowadays, earlier it was when Snowflake started, right? They were available only on AWS. I mean, you can host Snowflake only in AWS. I mean, you can create Snowflake account only in AWS cloud. But now you can create in Azure and GCP also. But if you take project, right, recent projects, majority of them are in Azure and Snowflake. Okay, and you already have clients who are using Snowflake with AWS. Okay. Um, so we are covering both AWS and Azure. GCP, right, usage itself is very less, and who will use Snowflake are they might be using, but very less. Okay, clients majorly they'll use AWS or Azure with Snowflake. Got it? So we'll be covering both Azure and AWS integration with Snowflake. Yep. Yeah. Any other questions?
Hitesh,
This is
as
Madhusudan. I have
data,
one
Yeah.
doubt.
sorry, as part
Yeah.
of data
Actually,
architect and data engineer roles, we
Mhm.
need to define some framework to load the data, right? So in
Mhm.
such level, are you covering? Because suppose if we take Databricks, some metadata driven framework, we need to prepare as part of data architect role, right?
Mhm. You'll
So
get like I mean, see how suppose if, in case if they're using any frameworks, right? Like for earlier also in Java, one of the limitation was JavaScript. Their clients to make it easier, right? The work if they have to write JavaScript process will be tough. They used to create frameworks like say then maintain few config tables and they'll kind of I mean um, put the SQL statements into that table so in sequence, in which order it should run. So those frameworks will cover like generic procedures, how you will create all those things. Okay, in real world projects, like whatever things that you do, right, those things will be covered. Okay, and what whenever we discuss a particular feature, what is the real use case, where will use, what are the issues that you face. Okay, there are handling part, everything will be covered. Got it? And even in interviews or certification, like what sort of questions you would get on that topic, the scenarios, all those will be covered. Yeah.
Yeah. So one more question. Are we covering the snowpark part?
No, snow park. You probably would. I can explain an overview, but not in depth. That is a new feature, as I said. So only few. Say if you take 100 projects on Snowflake and 100 clients who are using Snowflake, for example, only five, max 10 clients will use Snowpark feature. Okay, 90% they won't use Snowpark because the use case of Snowpark is different. Got it? In
Yeah.
case if your client is already using Databricks, then if required, they can migrate. They can instead of Databricks, they can use Snowpark that way. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. Hello. Yeah. What
Mhm.
is the difference between Snowflake developer and data engineer?
Even Snowflake developer will be using even doing the data engineering stuff only. Okay. You see the role, they'll call it with different names. If you whatever is the position, right? If you hear the word Snowflake, Snowflake Cloud Data Warehouse or Snowflake Data Cloud, like you can apply. Okay, all those things will be covered as a part of this training. Don't worry about the designation. The work you do as a Snowflake data analyst, data engineer, right, or like a Snowflake developer, lead architect, everything will be covering as a part of this training. Okay.
Yeah.
And
Once.
even
One
DBS
moment.
stuff. Yeah, even DBS stuff, like majority, like say 80% will cover. If in case if you wanted to look out for DBS specific roles, I can share additional resources. What you should focus on the 20%, which we don't cover in this. Okay. Yeah.
ETL related work also we have to do Snowflake developer.
Yeah, ETL work also will be doing. Like say data loading, since it is migration, right? Data loading, the transformation part, all those things that you will understand like when we as we progress.
Oh, like SCD type 1, type 2 also we have to do
We'll be covering. Yes.
Snowflake.
Yes, like all those
Oh,
scenarios, or how you'll implement SAD type 1, type 2, how changes will be captured, how we'll do full load, okay, and all other things, right? Like, see, if you have worked on ETL or any database, right,
yes.
more or less the same work you would be doing in Snowflake as well. The roles and responsibilities of Snowflake developer or data engineer will be same. Okay. Yep.
Okay. Actually, yeah. Actually, in my career, totally, I have able to write only SQL queries, but I don't have a knowledge on the ETL side. ETL side. That's why I am.
See, ETL, as I told you, right? I've shown you. That's why there'll be confusion. That's the reason I showed what all things you need to focus on. The mandatory skills you have to focus. Apart from this, if you have ETL exposure, that will be good. But we'll be, see, I told you, right? In Snowflake also, you'd get ETL compatibility. That will be covering from basic. You'll understand. Don't worry. And even like Azure Data Factory, which is in cloud, Azure ETL, right? In cloud, that will cover Matillion cloud-based ETL tool, that also will see. Okay, the overview you would get how will integrate with Snowflake, all those things, and DPT data, build tool, which is a transformation tool. It is open source nowadays. A lot of clients are using that in their projects in US and UK, so that also will cover. Okay, yeah, how will integrate all those. The mandatory skill set what you need to learn is this. Explained to, right, like here, mandatory skills on. I'll share all the content, course content, everything. Okay, in the like I'll share it with you.
What is the duration of this course?
Duration would be 45 to 50 days. Okay, Monday to Friday we'll have the Snowflake sessions, and Saturday onwards, Saturdays we'll have a SQL session. If you're not from data background, you can join that SQL session. That's how it is. And one second. This tomorrow, like we can have a SQL session. If you're not from data background, I'll give some database basics and SQL things, like what it is, how, so that when we get started with Snowflake, you don't have to Like you'll be up to speed. And from every Saturday we can have a skill session. That's why it is. Okay. Monday onwards, our regular Snowflake sessions will start. Sorry, Tuesday onwards, regular Snowflake. Tomorrow, there is Monday, we'll have a skill session. Yeah.
Can Snowflake supports unstructured data?
Yes. Earlier it was not supporting, now it supports. Okay. You can store images, audio files, video files, everything.
Okay.
Can you please go down like that DVT you have mentioned? What is that? Like the DVT tool?
DBT
Is
is a
it an ETL tool?
transformation.
Like Informatica?
No, it is a
Like you have
transformation.
mentioned correct, like a mandatory
See,
thing.
DBT is a transformation tool. Okay, that is also new tool. It's not just with Snowflake. You can use DBT along with Azure, Synops, your Redshift, Google BigQuery, even Databricks. Okay, that is
I don't have exposure into ADF, but I have a good exposure into Informatica as
see,
well as
you
Informatica
don't have to
Cloud. Can
worry
it
about
be
this. Like, as I said, whatever you need for you to crack interviews, right? All those things will be covered. Okay.
okay? Okay.
So the entire ETL tool will not be covered, right?
Yeah, entire ETL tool you don't need. Whatever you want, like those will be covered. Even ETL overview you would get. Okay.
Hitesh, Aparna here.
Mandatory skills, as I said again, I'm repeating. These are the mandatory skills. Everything will be covering, and even ETL, like as I said, couple of tools will cover, like ADF, Matillion. Yeah.
Hitesh, Aparna here. As
Yeah.
I'm like working on Ab Initio ETL tool. So, like, are you discussing such a kind of a cases like
Yeah.
how can we migrate from such a ETL tools to Snowflake and all?
You don't migrate that ETL tool to Snowflake. Okay. What you will do is, so see, if you're already using your client is already using Ab Initio ETL, right? They can
Yes.
connect to Snowflake. They can use Snowflake as a source or target. You got it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the ab initio will be still there. I mean, if they want, they can use that itself. Instead of, say, now you are extracting data from a particular source and loading it into a, say, Oracle or SQL server using ab initio. Now you can load it into Snowflake. You got it?
Yeah. But that how that can we integrate or like that kind of a things
You'll
we
have
can.
connectors.
Okay.
You can check, like in ab initio, suppose majority of the ETL tools you have got connectors for Snowflake. Ab initio, any ETL tool you take, ab initio to Snowflake. Okay, I mean, ab initio Snowflake connectors. If you search,
But on-premise data, it's not much.
you can load. I mean, migrate data from on-premises as well. Okay. Yeah.
It can be, but not much.
Here you can find, like, see, Snowflake integration is there. Like, you have connectors for see here databases. You can connect to Snowflake as well in ab initio. Got it?
Okay. Got it.
So are you covering the Matillion, the ETL part?
Yeah, Matillion, like not like in depth, like whatever the integration part, how we can implement SCD using Matillion, that we can discuss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Primarily, it is core Snowflake. Okay, end to end.
Okay.
Okay, and this skills, mandatory skills, end to end will be covering. Okay, whatever I have highlighted. Apart from this, you'll get some ETL exposure. Like how, see, learning ETL is not nowadays, like there earlier it was Informatica, Data Stage, all these are trending ETL tools. Right now, there are a lot of cloud-based ETL tools. Okay, core is Snowflake. On top of it, you can use any ETL tool. There are new ETL tools, cloud-based ETL tools like Fivetran. Okay, like you have like a lot of ETL tools, cloud-based ETL tools.
Okay.
Your client can use anything, but even if they're hiring core, what they look is Snowflake. Okay, this is like database, right? So if you have SQL and database skills, you learning an ETL tool will not take time. Okay, so that's how it is. Yep.
Actually, my requirement is actually Matillion with Snowflake.
Okay, Matillion also will be covered, like the integration part. Okay,
Only the integration part, right? So
integration and also implementing SCD, how we'll implement the major stuff, how to get started with Matillion, right? That you would get. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll discuss with you. Okay.
Okay.
Can you share the mandatory skills that's document in the group?
Yeah, I'll share everything, whatever we discussed in today's session, right? Even I didn't show you the course content. That also I'll show. I'll share. Okay.
Sir,
Okay.
if we need to build a new data model as against the one that we spoke, right? You said it's just going to be migration. So in my case, it's not migration. We're building a new data model. So in that case, everything has to go from scratch, right? Like we have to redefine the surrogate keys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those
So
things
all
will
of
be
that will
get
that be
to know.
covered because I don't have much
Yeah.
exposure to that.
Yeah. You
Because earlier I struggled when I was
yeah.
part of Capgemini.
So you'll
Yeah.
get to know all those things, how you'll implement the surrogate key, all those things. It is like, see, majority of the projects on Snowflake, what they would do is they will do as is migration. Okay, suppose they already have a data warehouse in SQL Server. Okay, suppose if you take this DW database here in SQL Server, like you have couple of dimensions. See, others will be discussing data warehousing. You'll understand what is dimension part, all those things. So suppose if they have decided to migrate this to Snowflake, they'll do majority of the client, they'll do as is migration. Okay, that is the same model they'll try to create in Snowflake. In case if they wanted to redesign, only few clients will go for redesign. The reason is why clients are migrating to Snowflake. I told you, right? Here in relational database, you will face performance issues. You would have faced. I mean, if you're working on data warehouse inside, you would have seen like data loads will take a lot of time, and reports will be waiting. Performance related issues you face, right? But in Snowflake, you can overcome them. You've seen the architectural benefits, right? Since you don't have any limit in terms of compute power and storage, right? That's one, and you will pay only for what you use. That's the main core reason why clients will switch to Snowflake. Okay,
So
and
I totally agree. So my question was around, like, will you be covering
that will be covered as
aspects
a
like
separate.
building a framework, like when you have to create a new framework, considering it's a new model and not the old model that we are transitioning from, or as is
Data
model. It's not
modeling
an
will
as
not be
is
covered.
model. So
Okay?
I'm going to build a new
I'll
data
tell you.
model.
Let me conclude. Like I mean, tell you.
Yeah,
Say
complete
data
your thoughts.
modeling
Yeah,
will
yeah,
not be.
go ahead. Yeah.
I'm not going to cover data modeling because data modeling is a different aspect, right? So like I'll explain like data warehousing stuff, like what all things you'll do as a part of data warehousing, all those things. Data modeling, like we are not going to cover. Okay.
Like, let's say they ask me, can you come up with a framework? So if we have to build an ETL framework, let's say
That
implementing SCD1,
those things
SCD2,
will be
will you be
covered.
covering that? Yeah, that's what I'm
Yes,
asking.
yes. Those things will be covered. Data modeling will not be covered because that will be done by data modeler. Other aspects, like say, if solution. Suppose you wanted to propose a solution as a solution architect. Okay, those you would be getting. What sort of tool stack you'll use? How I mean different projects, right? Based on like client, they can be using a different architecture. That is the project architecture. So that you will be getting. You will be able to and propose a solution. Okay, end of this training, you can, I mean, you'll be able to work as a Snowflake architect, okay, not as a data modeler. Okay, that's what. Hmm?
Okay, I'll chat with you offline, sir. I have more
Yeah.
questions. Yeah,
Mhm.
thanks.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions from anyone?
Yes. What about the project for interview?
Yeah, that you'd be getting. I have shown you, right? Like initially itself, you'd get like
Yeah.
what you have to explain and end to end, like what all things you'll be performing, all those things you'd get. Okay.
Is it something we have to come up with our own project and then you will do some modification, or you will give something,
I'll
because
give some.
everyone cannot have the same project, right?
Correct, correct. I'll give you like you based on your background. You can suppose if you wanted to. So you're asking how you have to project your profile, right? And
Yes.
I'll see based on your background, I can help you with your profile customization. Okay, how you should project. Okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
Do you support? Do you give any project support once this course is completely placed in any company?
Work support, I can't provide because I'm already working. See, if you are already working, right, you can manage work on your own. Because we are covering things in depth, you'll be able to manage work on your own. Even people from complete non-IT background also are able to manage their work on their own. Okay, so if you are already working on data side, you can be able to manage. In case if you need anything, in case that sort of thing, support like I can share the. I mean, already a lot of candidates got placed from our side, right? Who are from data background. Suppose if they are willing to provide, I can share their contact. That's all.
Thank you. Okay, out of this course, like which you are 40 to 50 hours, what is the percentage of hands-on which we are going to cover?
Everything will be hands-on only. Theory part initially for a couple of sessions, like that is to make you understand an architecture and all. Like few sessions will be there. After that, it is all practical. Okay, the data loading, the issues you face, SRE implementations, functions, procedures, everything. It is all hands-on. Yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
thank you.
practical. Yeah. Yeah. Any questions from anyone else, guys? It's been late. I know, like you can reach out to me if in case if you have any doubts as well. Any questions from anyone? Don't worry, as in our regular sessions, you'll get complete clarity on things. In half 1 hour, you will not be able to get everything. Okay, as we progress, you'll get clarity on things. Yep.
Yeah, can you connect? Can I connect you with you offline, like not now, like at your required time?
Yeah, for sure. I'll connect with you. Okay.
Okay, okay, okay. I'll ping you. Don't worry.
Mm.
Thank you, Hitesh.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
So,
you, Hitesh.
yeah, whoever has doubts, they can stay. Others can drop off. As I said, like in our regular sessions, you'll get complete clarity on things. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Hitesh. Tomorrow I'll.
Yeah. If anyone has any doubts, I'll be there for some more time. You can ask questions.
Yeah, one last question.
Mhm.
What is the course fee?
Yeah, I'll speak with you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. Anil, Aparna, Akash, Chaitanya, Chakradhar, Chandra, you have any doubts? Kiran, yeah, Praveen, Prasad, Pooja, yeah.
And Hitesh, please do let us the time know. Like 6:30 is will be a bit of early, so can you make it 7 to 8?
Yeah,
Will
I'll
it be
speak with you.
possible? Like if everybody agrees, then it's
Yeah.
like once everybody join, we can finalize it because it will be very difficult.
Okay. Yeah, I'll speak with you.
Possible to keep morning.
Live scenario.
What is that, Kiran? Your voice is breaking.
Live scenario.
Yeah, we'll be discussing that, like what issues you face, all those things.
Is it possible to keep session in the morning 7 a.m.? Morning 7 a.m.
Okay. Instead of 6:30, you want it to be 7, right?
Yeah, I connect from Saudi, so it will be 4 a.m. for me. So 4:30 something.
Okay. I'll let you know. Like, yeah. So you're referred by someone, Prasad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Ravi brother.
Oh, okay.
And do we need some another ETL tool to also be to learn along with Snowflake, or not required, like Talent or Informatica?
That's what, like as I said, like core is Snowflake. It depends on the client which particular tool they would use. Okay, if we have whatever we cover, right, the integration part, even if it is some other tool, it is the same thing. Okay, so we can't learn all ETL tools, right? We don't know which ETL tool, which client will use. So core is Snowflake. We can learn that, and we'll be covering few ETL integrations. There you would get to know like how we'll use that for data extraction and loading. We'll use transformations primarily. We'll be doing within Snowflake. So as I said, DBT you'll use it for transformations that you would get. That's what it is. Yeah.
Okay. And the data loading have direct connector or
What is that? Can you repeat? Hello, Prasad, your voice was breaking.
Snowflake has load data?
No, your voice is clear, not clear. Yeah.